Now that we have a Hanged Man and a Hermit persona, let's go back into our regular week. And yeah, it's Friday, not Saturday. I'm used to it immediately being Sunday when we go to Tartarus, but yeah, and nobody got tired that time, which was pretty amazing. Yeah, the longer that you, well, the further you go into Tartarus, the longer it takes for you to get tired. So the party seems to build up kind of a resistance to being there as you go through the game. Anyway, Saturday today, and still a lot of the school social links are locked out to us. Yeah, what's up with you? Kind of? Yeah, what is up with him? Oh, okay, it's gone to morning. That means we have a question in class today. Because, yeah, any time that is not after school or lunchtime, it's always going to be, oh, hey, you again. And this is something that I probably do know about, because Masakado just happens to be a persona in this game. So, yeah, that is literally the only reason I know about him, but yeah. So, yeah, finally, this guy's actually passionate for teaching, because we're to the samurai period now. So, Masakado had no choice but to oppose the court. And him being forced to become a rebel is basically why he's part of the Tower Arcana in this game. Well, I mean, we can actually use katanas. So this one is obviously not known unless you've looked this guy up yourself, but this last one... As weird as this sounds, this might be a reference to Oda Nobunaga, who apparently took to calling himself the Great Demon Lord of the Sixth Circle of Hell, or in Japanese, Dairokuten Mao. That name probably means something to people who play Persona 4, but anyway, the title that he actually took for himself was Imperial Prince. And yep, it's going to be on the exam next week. Finally, he's actually passionate about stuff. Minato no Yoritomo. Might want to remember that. Do you remember vaguely learning about the Kamakura Shogunate, but I mostly know about the Tokugawa one. Mainly because that's the one that's in Age of Empires. Okay. Now, Yaristu and Yukari don't realize now, but this is going to lead into a pretty significant plot event. So today, we have a long cutscene after we get back to the dorm. First, though, we're going to do the social link as usual. Yeah, and you're saying basically the same thing. Really, there isn't much else for us to do except to head directly to the shrine, because we're seeing Maiko today. We went from almost never going to the shrine to actually having quite a few reasons to go here. Well, at the moment only one, but we will have more reasons to go here soon. But for now, yep, Michael has that blinking social link available indicator. So let's go. Now, we don't technically need a Hangman persona yet, but we will immediately after getting this rank up, so I'd recommend having one on hand now. Looking at this slide makes me a little bit bitter because the playground near my house used to have a big slide, and then they replaced it with a crappy plastic one. And yeah, sure, let's go. Yeah, it's funny. I always kind of hated a lot of the fast food places like that, but some of the ones that had toys, there was a time when they actually let you buy the toys individually without actually getting a meal, and I always liked that. But anyway, tasty meal full of fat and cholesterol. Anyway, And more depressing stuff. And then this question happens. This is probably, in my opinion, the most jerkish social link response in the entire game. Weirdly enough, the guide says you can select anything here, but I would be surprised if this was not an automatic reverse. But yeah, I'll just say this one. And of course. And you can actually say anything here. But that gets us rank 2 of this Arcana. This social link is actually somewhat weird for me because, like, I myself actually have divorced parents, but they got divorced when I was so young that I didn't really... This sounds mean, but, like, care all that much? I don't know, I was just too young to really fully understand it, and it, in all honesty, never really affected me that much. But I suppose when you're old enough to understand the concept, then, like Maiko is, then it really would, so I can see why. Why she's acting like this.
So that's what happened on the night of the 7th.
So let's forget about all that for now and go into probably the most significant story event in the game so far.
It was a difficult operation.
The Hierophant didn't use Prophecy of Ruin at all, and Lovers only charmed us once, so it actually could have gone worse.
I see. They're getting tougher. But it's not all bad news. I called today's meeting because...
You wanted to say some bad puns?
Sorry.
Wait a minute, Yukari's just coming in with a hold it.
Before we go on, I'd like to ask Mitsuru-senpai something.
You knew this was coming.
Me?
Since I've joined, so many things have happened. I went along with it without really understanding what was going on. But now I need to know. I'm gonna ask you straight out.
Yeah, Fuka can tell this involves a thing that she was asked to look into.
You've been hiding something from us, haven't you, Senpai? You act like you don't know anything about the Dark Hour in Tartarus. But they're related to that accident 10 years ago, aren't they?
What accident?
Well, that definitely got a reaction out of her.
There was an explosion near our school, and a lot of people died. It must have been big news back then. You know about it, don't you?
Yes.
Luckily, no students were injured. But around the same time, a large number of students were recorded as absent. Seems like more than just a coincidence.
What do you mean?
I dug up some old school records and found something interesting. The students who were absent, they all collapsed suddenly and had to be hospitalized. Sound familiar? You know, like the girls who bullied Fuka.
This obviously was all related.
There has to be an explanation. What really happened on the day of that accident? The Kirijo group built our school, so you must know something. Tell me the truth.
I wasn't trying to hide anything from you. It just never seemed relevant.
That's what all Ace Attorney witnesses say.
But
It's okay. It's not your fault.
Why would she think it was her fault?
all right. I'll tell you the whole story. The shadows have many mysterious abilities. Some research indicates that they can even affect time and space. We think of them as our enemies, but what if we could somehow use them to our advantage?
I really don't like where this is going.
They would be a source of unimaginable power, wouldn't they?
Never say anything like that. It will only end badly.
What?
14 years ago, one man pursued that line of thinking. He was the former leader of the Kirijo group, Koetsu Kirijo. My grandfather. My grandfather was obsessed with shadows. He wanted to harness their power and create something extraordinary.
Harness their power?
He assembled a team of scientists, and over several years collected a significant number of shadows.
He what? Damn, that's freaking crazy!
However, 10 years ago, during the final stages of the experiment, they lost control of the shadow's power. Consequently, the nature of the world was altered.
You mean?
Yes, Tartarus and the Dark Hour. By their account, the mass of shadows they collected split into several large ones that then dispersed. These are the shadows we've been encountering on nights when the moon is full.
So you're saying, the reason why the world is so screwed up, the reason why we're encountering these boss fights every full moon, the reason why people are getting affected by apathy syndrome, is all because your grandfather was a complete and total idiot. Why is it that any scientist in the backstory of anything ever is always really stupid and makes this exact same mistake? The TV trope called evil is not a toy exists for a reason, you know. Anyway.
Is that why they've appeared in different places? Wait a minute. If what you said is true, then why did our school turn into Tartarus? Don't tell me. That's where they conducted the experiment?
Yes.
Then, those students who were hospitalized.
I'm afraid it's just as you're thinking. Port Island must have been an ideal location for them. It was a highly populated area, and the Kirijo group had influence there. They could do as they pleased. As you guessed, the experiment 10 years ago was conducted at Gekukan High School.
Does that mean all we've been doing is cleaning up their mess? You lied to us? You knew, too, didn't you, Senpai? They've just been using us. Or do you not care as long as you get to fight?
That's not true. I have my reasons.
We've seen that alluded to earlier.
Think what you'd like. It was my decision not to share that information. I'm sorry. I never intended to deceive you. Convincing you to join SEAS was my highest priority. As absurd as it may seem, only we, with our personas, can fight the shadows.
That is a good point.
How could you?
Besides, some of us were never given a choice.
Wait a minute, what does that mean?
Mitsuru, don't.
There's even more she's withholding.
Yukari, it's those in the past who are to blame. And they lost their lives as a result of what they did.
Oh, okay, so thank goodness, at least Mitsuru's evil grandfather is dead. That's, at least a positive.
We're all in the same boat here. None of us deserve the burden that's been thrust upon us.
But...
It's been 10 years since that incident. No one knows why those shadows suddenly returned.
And yeah, of course, incident is highlighted in the same color of text that refers to things relating to the Dark Hour now.
But since they're active, at least we can find and destroy them. Do you realize what this means? What if I told you that those 12 shadows are the cause of everything?
Well, that's pretty much true from what we've heard.
And then if we defeat them all, Tartarus and the Dark Hour will disappear?
Exactly. That's what I was going to tell you earlier. See, it's good news, isn't it?
Well, we've already kind of figured that from back when we found out there were 12 of them.
is that true?
There's evidence to support it. Now, our true battle begins.
Well, so far, we have defeated exactly 6 of them. So we're halfway there.
Regardless of what's happened in the past, we must fight to protect the people. The shadows are gaining strength. We can't afford to just wait for them. And there are many mysteries still surrounding Tartarus.
Oh yeah, because that's the highest priority right now.
Why did such a gigantic structure appear in the first place? The answer must lie within it.
Well, clearly it's because Mitsuru's grandfather was stupid and broke time. Whenever people mess around with those kind of things, it always ends badly. But you want to go ahead and talk to Ikutsuki while he's here, because he actually has a few more important things to say. So, if we talk to him about these things... So it used to be a single entity, and that's pretty ominous. Of course, people were stupid, and they blew up time and space. And then it became the full moon shadows. What about the public? Over 50 people were injured. That somewhat makes sense. Now, remember that. That's actually kind of important. What about Mitsuru? Yeah, this is what she was saying. That one thing she was withholding that seemed painful to her, she didn't get her persona naturally. She was experimented on until she gained the ability to summon one, which is pretty disturbing. As for Akihiko... Okay, so he joined earlier. There was a third member as well. Now, from what we've seen so far, it should be pretty obvious to figure out who that third member was. So yeah, Junpei's still jealous of Gary's Gary Stunis. Yep, they can't go. Yeah, admittedly, that is kind of unfortunate. Is anyone else around? Yukari and Mitsuru, as well as Akihiko, they don't seem to be here. Wonder if they're anywhere else in the dorm. Well, they don't seem to be anywhere around here. Are they still in the room? Maybe. No, they are not. So, they've all... I don't know, some of them may have gone to their rooms early. Not sure what happened, but it kind of all came out. And things are only going to get even more interesting from here. But if you think about what we know so far, Yukari really wanted to know this information. She was absolutely desperate to know. We don't quite have enough to connect the dots yet, but we will in one more day. Anyway, what's on TV today? Oh, it's another episode of Twish's Who's Who. Who's on today? A man in his 20s with a yellow cap. Yeah, that's all we'll say for now. So, that was a pretty major set of reveals we got there, and... I have an idea of what to do tonight. So I'll see you back here after I save. So, tonight, normally I would be doing the quiz game to increase academics, but here's the thing. We're not going to get enough academics to top this next exam before the exam starts. There's no way we're going to be able to. So I thought, we're actually not going to have a free Tuesday for a while. And because of that, I originally planned to see the Devil's Social Link on Tuesdays, but like I said, we won't have a free Tuesday for a while. So I thought, you know what, let's see Tanaka tonight, just to boost the rank up a bit. So, like I said, every time you speak to this guy, you're guaranteed a rank up. And I like how it's like President Tanaka seems pleased. It's not just Tanaka, it's President Tanaka. Placebo. Okay. I don't like where this is going. Yeah, so you're saying that none of the products you sell actually work. Wow, as much as sometimes placebos do work in terms of medicine, emergency supplies, I would not recommend placebo emergency supplies. Yeah, you're charging people enormous amounts of money for a false sense of security. You're a great guy. Somewhat questionable advice. Weirdly enough, when he said when you make your first million, making your million is actually quite easy later into the game. So, it's gonna come closer than we think. But this is rank 2 for the Devil Arcana. And yeah, it doesn't matter what you answer to any of these. You always rank it up every time you talk to him. This one, I remember this one. Like, yeah, as much as his threats are often comically unthreatening, this one I always found actually pretty creepy. But the threats slowly get more and more ridiculous as the link progresses. So, I suppose we can study then. I don't plan on going back to Tartarus anytime soon, so I can probably study as much as I want to. Like I said, I don't think we'll be hitting the next academics milestone needed to top these exams before we get to them, but it's fine because we have plenty of time to get to the final academics milestone. And, finally, a Sunday where we don't have a date. This is the first one of these we've had in a long time, and you know what that means? Now that we've... Oh, okay.
Nothing to do as usual, huh?
It means plot event. Okay, so I'll get this out of the way first, and then I'll talk about what I wanted to do.
Why are you here? If you came here to try and convince me, then forget it.
It's nothing like that. I just wanted to see how you were doing.
Huh?
We've known each other for a long time. It's been almost 14 years since we met at the orphanage. You, me, and Miki. We used to run around here until the sun went down.
Well, that's the first mention we've heard of Mickey. From things that we've heard of earlier, we might be able to figure out who Mickey is.
Back then, it seemed like we had all the time in the world.
You haven't changed one bit. If you want to get all sappy, go do it with your other friends.
What was that?
It's rare for you to think about the past. Usually you just charge ahead like a damn fool. So obviously there's something on your mind.
I do reminisce sometimes, but what's the point? Anyway, we finally know how to get rid of Tartarus in the Dark Hour.
No shit.
To be honest, all I've been thinking about lately is getting stronger. But yesterday, someone made me question my reason for fighting.
Your reason for fighting, huh? That's different for every person. But if you don't have a good one, you can always quit. Like I did.
I'm not like you. Man, I can't believe I'm the one getting lectured here. Well, see you around.
You haven't changed at all.
And as much of a mood whiplash as this seems, I might want to draw your attention to that Mahjong sign in the background. That's actually going to be needed for a side quest later, so you might want to remember where that is. But the cutscenes continue.
Yes?
And we get a nice little preview of Fuka's room.
Can I talk to you for a moment?
Senpai? Oh, please come in.
Not only do you excel at providing support during battle, but also at obtaining information.
You found out, didn't you?
Oh, I'm sorry for doing that without permission.
Don't worry, you're not in trouble, but I do have a special favor to ask of you. I want you to find out as much as you can about that incident 10 years ago.
Now she's wanting that.
But very little was made public.
That's why I want you to access the Kirijo Group's database.
You mean hack into their system? That's illegal.
I'll give you my ID and password. You'll be free from accountability. I want to know the truth, in detail.
Senpai.
Of course, I'll understand if you refuse.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
When I was saying before that Fuka's sort of technology expertise didn't really come up that much in the plot, I'd actually kind of forgotten about this scene.
Are you sure? I appreciate it. Yamagishi, aren't you resentful? After all, despite my good intentions, I did drag you into this without fully explaining. Certainly you must be a little angry with me.
Not really. You see, my parents have an inferiority complex because all my relatives are doctors. That's why they're so tough on me. It's really hard for me to be at home. But here, I feel important, and I can help you and the others. So why should I be angry?
Okay, so we've found out a little bit more about Fuka here.
You're right, Yamagishi. We do need you. No one can take your place.
Now that I think about it, almost everyone in the party has a pretty screwed up family situation. Because I don't think we find it out unless you're playing the female protagonist in Persona 3 Portable, so I feel okay with saying it here. But Junpei has a very bad situation at home, and one of his parents is an alcoholic, I believe. And Mitsuru, well, yeah, you already know that her grandfather was insane. And as for the others, well, I guess we'll be finding out later.
Thank you. I'll see you later.
But the plot events still continue.
So, Tartarus and the Dark Hour will be gone, huh?
I just want to draw your attention to that poster behind him that says, "The More Than Dreamin'." Not sure that makes sense when you think about it, but anyway.
That's good. That's what we've been fighting for, but... So why am I so pissed?
Gosh, it's hot. Even for July.
Seriously, but at least we're seniors now. We won't be wearing these stupid uniforms much longer.
Yeah, I've had enough of this. I just want to get accepted to college and start having some fun.
That's if you get accepted, don't forget.
I know why. I'm the reason. I was like, fighting is my duty, but hell, it's all I'm good for. If it weren't for that, it'd be worthless. My duty. What a bunch of bullshit. I can't fight worth shit anyway. Not compared to him, at least. Damn it! Nothing I do is good enough.
And this is part of the reason why I think Junpei's voice acting performance in this game is amazing. But yeah, we're going through everyone in the party at this point.
Seems like my worst fears keep coming true. Am I stupid to believe in things like trust and friendship? Dad, this old letter of yours. I must have read it 1,000 times since it came last spring.
March 6th, 2000. To my family.
This game is set in 2009-ish, I believe.
Tomorrow, I bring this letter to the opening ceremony for the Moonlight Bridge. It'll be stored in a time capsule and sent to you 10 years from now. Yukari, you're so small right now, but in 10 years, you'll be 16. You'll be in high school. I know you've been sad because I have to work so late, but you still always greet me with a smile. I'm really proud of myself. Kirijo-san appointed me head researcher. I'll be starting on a big project soon, and I'm happy to be receiving so much recognition for my work. But I swear to you that nothing is more important to me than you and your mother. Yukari, are you remembering to enjoy life? Are you still bright-eyed and hopeful like you are now? No matter what happens in the next 10 years, I hope you're happy. Well, I hope this letter brings a smile to your face. Love, Dad.
can't lose hope. For his sake. I won't turn my back. I won't be like Mom. Not ever.